She walked into the casting room with her heart racing and hopes high. Dressed in a simple black outfit and barely any makeup, she was just another face in a long line of hopefuls. Nobody knew she was the daughter of one of the most powerful fashion designers in the industry, and she didn't want them to. She wanted to make it on her own. No connections, no shortcuts, just pure talent and hard work. But what she got instead was rejection. The agents didn't even give her a second glance. One of them even muttered something about her not having the right look. She smiled politely, held back her tears, and walked out. What they didn't know was that behind her quiet presence was a life surrounded by runways, luxury fabric, and front-row fashion weeks. She had grown up backstage, sketching designs while top models passed by. Her mother, a global fashion icon, had taught her everything about the industry, except how to deal with being overlooked. That day, she made a choice. If the industry wasn't going to see her for who she was, maybe it was time to remind them. What happened next shocked everyone. The same agency that turned her away was suddenly desperate to get her on board. But by then, the story had already spread, and not just about her name. People wanted to know how she turned rejection into recognition and why she decided to finally reveal her true identity. While Ava tried to move on from the rejection, the industry was already buzzing about something else. A new face had appeared on a top fashion blog, mysterious, elegant, and unknown. A single photo from a private event had leaked. Ava, in a stunning piece from her mother's unreleased collection, had been caught on camera. No one knew who she was, but everyone wanted to find out. The comments exploded with guesses. Some thought she was a European aristocrat. Others called her the runway ghost because she had the presence of a supermodel, but didn't seem to exist anywhere online. At the same time, the agency that had turned Ava away was facing pressure. One of their scouts recognized her photo and realized the girl they brushed off was the daughter of Camille Laurent. Panic set in. Not only had they rejected someone with deep roots in the fashion world, but they had missed the chance to sign someone who clearly had something special. Ava didn't know any of this was happening. She was busy debating whether she even wanted to keep chasing this dream. Part of her felt tired, like no matter what she did, people would either overlook her or only want her for her last name. Meanwhile, inside Camille's design studio, a quiet plan was unfolding. Without saying a word to Ava, Camille started making calls. Not to pull strings, but to test something. If Ava's talent truly spoke for itself, maybe it was time the industry finally listened, on her own terms. A few weeks later, an exclusive fashion showcase was announced in Paris, an invite-only event featuring the industry's most talked-about designers and a mysterious debut collection. Rumors swirled that Camille Laurent was unveiling a line inspired by new talent, but no one could confirm the details. The fashion world buzzed with anticipation. Behind the scenes, Ava had no idea her mother had quietly entered her into the casting lineup. Camille hadn't mentioned her name, hadn't told anyone who she was, only submitted Ava's portfolio under a code name, along with a simple message: *, let the talent speak first. *. Ava, meanwhile, was pulled back in by a call she never expected. A well-known stylist who had seen her leaked photo wanted her for a test shoot. Ava hesitated, unsure she was ready to step back into a world that had already slammed a door in her face. But something inside her told her to try, just once more. She said yes, unaware that the stylist was connected to the upcoming Paris event. As the showcase approached, the buzz around the mystery model grew. Designers were whispering. Influencers speculated. Agents scrambled to find out who she was. The same agency that once rejected her even reached out again, unaware they were chasing the same girl. Ava stood backstage at the Paris venue, heart pounding, unaware that her next steps could change everything, not just for her, but for the way the fashion world viewed legacy, talent, and identity. Then her name was called. Ava stepped onto the runway, the lights blinding and the music pulsing through her chest. Every eye in the room turned to her, though no one recognized her, not yet. Wearing a bold, sculpted gown from the new collection, she carried herself with quiet power. Each step was steady, graceful, almost haunting. Phones snapped photos. Stylists leaned forward. The crowd didn't know her name, but they knew they were seeing something different. When she reached the end of the runway, a hush fell over the room, a rare silence in a space usually filled with forced applause. Then, the whispering began. Backstage, Camille watched with a tight-lipped smile, still saying nothing to the press. This moment wasn't about her. It was about Ava. But just as the show wrapped, an unexpected twist changed everything. A major fashion blog leaked the identity of the mystery model, posting side-by-side photos of Ava and Camille, captioned, *Fashion royalty walks among us. Within minutes, the internet erupted. Some called it inspiring. Others claimed it was staged, just another example of privilege in fashion. The narrative began to shift fast, and not all of it was in Ava's favor. The very agencies that ignored her were now trying to sign her with over-the-top offers. But worse, some accused her of hiding her identity to manipulate attention. Ava scrolled through the headlines stunned. What was supposed to be her breakout moment now hung in limbo. She finally had the spotlight, but not in the way she imagined. Ava stood in the middle of a media storm, her name suddenly everywhere. Fashion critics dissected her walk, her look, and most of all, her last name. Some praised her for trying to break through on her own. Others doubted her intentions, saying she only got attention because of who her mother was. For the first time, Ava felt the weight of her name as a burden rather than a gift. She didn't speak to the press. She didn't make statements. Instead, she accepted an invite to a live fashion roundtable, one where she could finally speak for herself. The room was filled with designers, models, and editors. Ava sat quietly until they turned to her. Cameras rolled, and for the first time she told her story honestly. She shared how she hid her identity because she didn't want special treatment. She spoke about the rejection, the pressure of legacy, and the fear of never being seen for who she really was. The room fell silent. One editor leaned forward and simply said, "That's the most real thing we've heard in a long time." The twist came hours later. Camille revealed in an interview that she had not only stepped back from designing the mystery collection, she had let Ava design it entirely. The gowns everyone praised were Ava's sketches brought to life. The industry had judged her for her name, but what they missed was that her talent had already been in front of them the whole time. The name didn't open the door, her work did. In the days that followed, the tone around Ava changed. The fashion world, known for its fast opinions and short memories, began to see her differently. Articles shifted from questioning her motives to admiring her quiet strength. Young models and designers started reaching out, saying her story made them feel seen. Ava didn't chase every interview or endorsement. Instead, she chose her path carefully, signing with a creative agency that respected her vision, not just her last name. Camille, watching from a quiet distance, finally stepped back from the spotlight. She didn't need to defend her daughter. Ava had done that on her own. Their bond, already strong, had grown deeper, not because of the fashion world's approval, but because of the honesty they'd found in each other. Ava was no longer just the fashion designer's daughter. She was a designer, a model, and most importantly, a voice in an industry that often forgets to listen. Her first full collection launched 6 months later under her own name, Ava James Laurent, a blend of her own style and the legacy she chose to embrace, not hide from. It sold out within hours. But more than the success, it was the respect that mattered most to her. The same agency that once rejected her sent a note of congratulations. She never replied. In a world that often focuses on who you know, Ava reminded everyone that true recognition comes when your talent speaks louder than your last name. And this time, the world was finally listening.